Hi guys, good to see you. I am back. I'm feeling a lot better than I was last Friday, and I am ready to go a little bit more in depth with these systems, clear up some confusion. Got a sweet new background here that I took from the game's intro. I thought it looked a lot better than looking at black, so we've at least doubled video production, at least doubled. Um, Again, gonna continue to play some music in the background. Why? Because there's a lot of noise around me. I live in a busy place. Uh, Hopefully, again, that doesn't bother you. And I hope you like the new background decision choice instead of black. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna talk about price balance, and this is an important one. This is the biggest system. This is the one that's kickstarted longevity. This is my favorite and the one that I spent the most time on because, in my opinion, it was what the game needed most. And by what I say needed, I mean what's healthy for the game in replayability factors. A lot of you are okay with the sandbox and you love the way the game's played now. That's fine, and I'm happy that you enjoy the game as much. But for me and a lot of others, I need things to be different. I need new ways to approach. I would use the word strategy, but this isn't a strategy game, and I don't want it to feel like a strategy game. Not heavily, at least. But I do want there to be decision making involved because every game should have some decision making. If your goal was to make as much money as possible in the vanilla, there was no decision. You would plant blueberries in the summer, and then plant cranberries in the fall, and then get your ancient fruit in the greenhouse as fast as you could get that greenhouse, and then you make all the money that you could make. But the goal here is we've lowered, and by we, I have lowered the prices for crops so that they are not overwhelmingly good to you. You're not going to get double or triple the profit when you purchase the seeds and you grow them up and sell them. They're going to be a percentage of profit. And by percentage, I'm talking less than 100%, not double. They're going to be enough to where you make money, of course, but in a way that it prevents you from progressing so quickly in the game that I believe is unintended, at least in Eric's view. I know that some people are a lot faster and some people are a lot slower, and the great thing is this is designed to help you scale so that no matter how slow or how fast you are, you're in a good place that you're going to be able to progress. And for those of you that say, well, what's the incentive of working really, really hard and going the extra mile, and you're going to make more money, you're still going to progress further, but you're going to be able to do it in a different way. I'll go more in depth with the benefits of that in a moment. But there's equal crop priority, meaning your blueberries and your cranberries aren't going to be king of the season anymore. You're going to want to diversify your crops, and there's a lot of things that act on this. And the first being that really the only factors that affect the crops are how much is it going to sell for, how much time does it take to grow, and is it going to produce multiple times. These are important because parsnips might get you 10 gold in profit, but do you want to take a couple of days in a keg to make a juice out of it so that it can be worth 20 extra gold? Or do you want to get something that is higher value in there that's really worth post-processing? That's the point of this is, different crops have different goals that you can have for them and what would be most effective for those crops. But no one crop is just going to be better than the others. It's the point, and there's more things that will kind of incentivize you and push you to diversify, and that was my goal for this. The first big kind of underlaying concept of price balance is the influencers. As you get better at fishing, your fish are going to be worth more. As you get better at farming, your crops are going to be worth more. as you have a better relationship with Pierre, he's gonna have a discount on his seeds, so those are gonna be not as costly, and you're gonna make more money on those. The idea being that this is an economy, and when you first come into it, you are not vested in the economy, and the economy is not vested in you. But as you spend more time selling and becoming a part of that economy, taking some of that market, you influence that economy, and it influences you back. Hence why these are called influencers. It's kind of a real life approach. It's a little bit realistic to some extent, but the overall goal is to make it so that the more time, the not easier it gets for you, but the more benefits and more options that are open to you. Another influencer is the seasonal influence. So if you have a blueberry in summer, it's going to be worth more in fall, in winter, and in spring. Depending on how far away you are from summer, it's going to become worth more because you can't grow them as willingly. They're not as heavily in the market. So it incentivizes holding those crops for a longer time if you can. Kind of invest a little bit. Don't take the money now, take it later, you'll get more. If you can, though, that's the point. More options are available to you as you get further in the game, so you can do things like hold your crops. And then random influence. That is basically every single day your crops are going to fluctuate up and down in price by a certain percentage. Now, the more a crop is worth, the larger those ups and downs are going to be, because the more percentage, the percentage is the same, it's just there's more value in that crop for the percentage to work with. So don't see that as like this is the best crop because it goes up or down the most or whatever. It has they're all the same percentage in up and downs. I don't want to get too far in the math, but there's a higher chance of getting a negative value than there is getting a positive value. So most of your days, if you're trying to sell blueberries, most days the blueberries are going to be worth less. They're going to have a negative random influence. And this is because I want you guys to be using the menu and be actively thinking, when should I sell these? The moment you harvest your blueberries, maybe today's not a great day to sell them, or tomorrow, or the day after. There will be windows of opportunity, and if you wait, then you'll actually find times where, okay, they're actually good to sell today, and then you're rewarded for that patience and for that strategical thinking. That's the majority of influencers. That's the basic effect. In the menu tab, everything that changes the base price of the crop is an influencer, except for the random fluctuation, which has its own column, and diminishing returns. Diminishing returns means the more you sell of a single item, the less it's going to become worth. And it does this in thresholds. So if you sell a certain amount of blueberries, then those blueberries will drop from 100% value to 90%. And then you continue to sell them, they'll drop to 80, and then to 70, and all the way down to a cap of 50%. This is important because if you oversell and they get down to a 50-60%, some of these crops will actually start causing you to lose money on them. So you want to diversify. You want to make sure you don't oversell something. And it helps to create a scaling effect. When you have mass farms where it doesn't matter how much you diversify, you're going to run into diminishing returns. It's to help you so that you don't over accumulate, you don't get to that mass production, because 1% of $1 million is still quite a bit of money. And so if you're able to get into those mass levels of production, it doesn't matter how much I scale you down as far as what crops are worth, you're going to make a lot of money. So the DR is a way of helping cut that back and give you a reason to diversify. Lastly, Artisan Goods, those take on the properties of whatever product made them. So jellies, honey, wine, juice, and pickles. Those are the 5 prefixed Artisan Goods, meaning they require a product to make, and they will take on the influencer properties of whatever product you used to make them. So if your blueberries are diminished to an 80% value, then your blueberry jelly will also be of 80% value. Blueberries are out of season, you're in the winter time, they're worth a lot more, then the blueberry jelly will also reflect that. So just to clear that up, that's how jellies work. If you look in the menu, you'll notice that the Artisan Goods have weird prices. Disregard those, because the jelly in the Artisan Good menu is just jelly. There's no way to just get jelly unless you buy it from the traveling merchant. So that's to disregard. If you want to know the price of jelly or wine or juice or any of those, then you can hover over the pictures in the menu, and it'll give you their post-product good. So whether it makes a honey, if it's a flower, it'll show you the honey prices. If it's a fruit, it'll show you wine and jelly. So keep that in mind. Those are the systems. I hope I went in depth with those well enough. I hope that kind of gives you guys a little bit more insight and you're not as lost. If you haven't played longevity with the price balance, I encourage you highly to do so. It is the most game-changing system, and it's going to give you a new outlook each time you play a new game. So if this is a game you love and you haven't tried it and you're skeptical because you don't know how it's going to change the game or you think it's going to be too hard, give it a go and see just how game-changing it is and see if it's something that fits you, because this was developed to make the game better, not to make the game what I want it to be, even though I want it to be a better game, so it's kind of both. But mainly it's designed with purpose, that I really want each and every one of you guys to at least attempt using, to make sure it's not something for you. I want you to experience what many of the other users experience and why it's such an awesome system. With that being said, I'm going to do a separate video for taxes, as well as the rest of these. Maybe today, maybe within the rest of this week. But I appreciate you guys stepping by, and hopefully I've cleared the confusion, if any. Let me know in comments or on Discord if there's anything that's still unclear to you that I can help you out with. But with that being said, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you around.